Hi everybody and welcome to our TNA show of the week. This is Heel Heat. My name is George Coles. This is my tag team partner Mark Jindrak.
Okay, Gary Rhodes, everybody.
And first we want to talk about the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. Had a good opening match, Zema Ion versus Rob Van Dam for the X Division title.
Thought it was a good match, but the wrong guy got over.
I'm a huge Rob Van Dam fan and I tend to agree with that. I think it hurt Zema Ion's career more at this point losing to Rob Van Dam than it would hurt Rob Van Dam to lose to him. However, I do think that Rob Van Dam is going to bring a little something extra to the X Division.
I know, but I like the kid. I think he could have gotten over with using the hairspray.
You're really
or
big
something.
on him now, huh?
Well, you know what? I like the heels, man. The kid works good as a heel. He plays that little pretty boy heel to the bone.
So since we started this show a couple months back, you were.
Oh, I hated the kid.
You were negative on him, and he's really turned it around in your eyes.
I do, and I think them taking a belt from him is going to hurt him.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that a little bit later with somebody else, too.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next match tonight, which I think was a much better match personally, was Magnus versus Samoa Joe.
Joe did his job by making Magnus look like $1 million, and Magnus took that and made Joe look like $1 million. I thought it was an awesome match.
It was one of those matches like we've been talking about on some of our other shows, where both guys coming in looked like $1 million and going out looked like $1 million, regardless of the outcome.
Mm-hmm. I think it was a great match.
I think it was one of the better matches of the night. The best match of the night, however, I think was the next match. James Storm versus Bobby Roode.
Spectacular match, man. I know you were kind of skeptical of it at first because you're like, these two guys in a kind of a street fight, but I think they pulled it off, man.
I think they did really well. It kind of reminded me of, what was it, SummerSlam 02, where Shawn and wrestle each other. It reminded me a lot of it. The only detractor I have for the match is, what was the purpose of King Mo?
To kind of bring her brain with the MMA, which is fine.
But the thing of it is, in the story, in the wrestling story, it makes no sense. In a street fight, you don't need an enforcer. An enforcer is for something where the heels got disqualified a couple times, and that's how he's won.
Mm-hmm.
He brought nothing to the match, in my opinion.
I don't know. I like the kid though. I think he's a big wrestling fan.
That's not anything against King Mo. I'm just saying, the booking wise,
I think his expressions during the match kind of helped out the match too, though. His seeing some of those big pop spots that the boys took, he looked like, what the hell happened here? Like a car wreck. I think he was fine with it. I mean, I could have done with or without it, but he didn't hurt the match none at all.
And then coming off of that, the show started off really good with 3 hot matches, and then we had Joey Ryan versus Al Snow, which was a little bit of kind of like, they built it like a roller coaster where you got the 3 outstanding matches. And it's not that it was a bad match, but it's a different kind of match. Almost a comedy relief match.
It wasn't a match where people would do this, get up and go take a piss. They stayed and watched the match, and then, they had their little thing with Matt Morgan at the end of the match.
Yeah, which is bringing Matt Morgan back on the TV. Good way to do it. I think it would have been better if he hadn't been coming in on house shows, if it was more of a surprise.
Exactly.
And Joey Ryan got the win, which was pretty much predictable. And then after that, we had the Tag Team Championship match. AJ and Kurt Angle versus Kaz and Daniels versus Chavo and Hernandez. I thought the match itself was a really good worked match. These guys, they've been working with combinations of them on the past, 6 Impacts or so. Mm-hmm. And they've really got their timing and working together well to put on a great match at the show. The only thing I don't like is the absolute worst pick of the 3 won the match, in my opinion.
Exactly. I think it was just here, Chavo, you just came to us, here's tag team titles.
Yeah.
I think it would have been smarter for Kaz and Daniels to walk out with the champs.
And in a 3-way setup, it's the perfect thing to do. The other 2 guys, they get the cheap win, they're the heels, they keep the cheap heat. But that's just my opinion. I think the absolute worst pick of the 3 teams won it.
And that's against Chavo. I mean, we like Chavo, but we like Chavo 5-10 years ago.
Well, the thing of it is, I don't see Chavo and Hernandez being a tag team more than... If they're a tag team in January of next year, I'd be surprised.
Okay, we'll put that for the record book. We'll see how it goes January. I doubt it too. So.
Well, that's what I mean. And Kaz and Daniel seem to be ready as a tag team as a long haul, and even Kurt and AJ as a tag team. You know they're not going to last either, but it lets you have other people in the world title picture for a little while so they can run with that a little longer. I think Chavo's eventually going to go into the X Division status. And after that, we had the Divas title match, Tessmacher versus Tara. I thought it was a really good match. They finally announced who the Hollywood boyfriend was, which was some guy from Big Brother. I don't even remember his name.
Well, the thing is, they kept announcing, oh, it's the guy from Big Brother. The guy from Big Brother. I watched Big Brother, so I don't know who the hell this guy was. It was like season 9 or 10 or whatever. Who cares?
The majority of wrestling fans don't give a crap about Big Brother. Probably don't watch Big Brother. I don't even know what night it's on, to be honest with you. I'm not a big reality shows fan, but
it is what it is.
I think it would have been better if it was John Morrison, like the rumors said.
It would have made more sense.
Then after that, we had a Sting and Bully Ray versus the Aces and Eights. Not the greatest of matches. It was okay.
Bubba came out with his face paint.
Yeah.
Shouldn't say Bubba with the shirt that Hogan's on, huh? Bully came out with his face painted up like the LOD. You know, they worked okay together. You know, yeah. And then he got some cheap pops.
And then we finally got one of the Aces and Eights revealed, and it was a shocker. Devon Dudley.
Get the tables.
And you know, to me, I said it right before they revealed him because he was totally covered. I said, what if it's going to be Devon?
See, I thought it was going to be Hogan first. I don't know. Something told me it was going to be Hogan because they had him all covered up, kind of cover up the leather skin and the bleach blonde hair, but I was wrong.
You know, it'd be funny if the whole sex tape thing is a work and it leads to Bubba the Love Sponge being the leader of Aces and Eights.
That's how their writing goes.
And, you know, just saying, just putting it out there. They're working everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, we had the world title match, Jeff Hardy versus Austin Aries. I think it was a little bit hurt by the time constraints. I think, what was it, about a 10, 15-minute match?
It was almost 20, I'll give it that. It was close
it was almost
to 20.
But it seemed like it was rushed.
It was rushed. And the thing is, the wrong man won. Plain out and simple. The biggest doper in the company gets their world title. Sorry to say. I think they screwed a pooch on this one. Was the greatest man in the world, had a 3-month run. Come on.
Here's what, and this is again what we talked about earlier with Zema Ion. Jeff Hardy winning, I'm not so much against him being the world champion because he is a big merchandise seller, he is a big draw. I get that part. You're killing Austin Aries, which is a guy you could have built for the next 5 years. Jeff Hardy most likely is leaving next year in, I think, his January, his contract's up. Most likely he's either going to leave or power play and get a lot more money. I think that they put the wrong guy over just on the fact that it's going to push Aries back down the card when you had a superstar in the making who the fans were buying into. If you watched the pay-per-view, he was just getting just as many, if not more, cheers than Jeff was.
If you watch the pay-per-view, if you the right before the show, their pre-show, he had to go out there and stir up the pot and get some heat, and it still didn't work. The fans are still cheering the guy.
But altogether, I thought it was a decent pay-per-view. For their version of what WrestleMania is, I thought it was a little bit lackluster, but it was better. I actually think the Destination X pay-per-view was better than this year. But it wasn't a bad pay-per-view at all, by any means. Now, coming off the pay-per-view, we want to go into our question of the week before we start talking about the Impact show. The question of the week last week, with them doing the Hall of Fame, should Jeff Jarrett been one of the first members inducted in the Hall of Fame? Now, we got an answer from one of our friends, Paul Panda Bear Pickett. He gave us, yes, the guy who did. Okay, that's another thing. I would say yes to Jarrett only because he started the company and they're seeing relative success. I honestly don't think he's been much to watch in the ring since WCW. And George, I don't take the Panda Bear thing as a diss, LOL. What do you think on this situation?
I'm not a Double J fan, but I think he did create a company too, like Paul said. I think the guy deserves a spot.
And that's the point I made when I thought about this. If it's kind of disrespectful for anybody else other than Jeff Jarrett to go in on the first class. Him and Sting could have both went in, and that would have been fine by me.
Well, they could have had three entrants: Sting, Jeff Jarrett, and Jerry Jarrett.
Yeah, But here's the thing. Even if you go kayfabe with it, who's had more TNA title reigns than Jeff Jarrett?
Nobody.
Exactly. So, I mean, I'm just saying, to me it seemed like a little bit of a diss to Jeff Jarrett. I really do think he should have been one of the first people in. Now, our question of the week for this week is, who do you think has the best theme music in TNA? Let us know what you think about that. Hit us up on Twitter, put it on our Facebook, put it down where?
Down there.
Right down there in the comments. I gave him his spot again. And there it goes. It's like A-Rod, except for he actually connects every once in a while.
I do too.
No, I'm talking about you.
Oh.
That was an A-Rod diss.
Oh, good.
Golf clap, GR. But anyway, going into our Impact show, we had the opener brought out some of the Aces and Eights guys, with Devon somewhat explaining why he joined Aces and Eights. Led to a little bit of a brawl, which led to Hulk Hogan coming out and saying, you know,
tonight, Devon, you're going one-on-one with Sting.
Was that like a cross between Hogan and...
I didn't call him Sting Mom.
There you go.
There you go.
Anyway, but it was a little, I mean, to me it was a little bit lackluster. I didn't like how that was set up. Next we had Robbie versus Samoa Joe. I thought it was a decent match. Robbie is a little bit underrated in my opinion.
I think so too. I think the kid's got ability to talk.
I think the gimmick they're sticking him up with, the Zack Ryder ripoff gimmick, which basically is what I see it as, I think it's hurting his career. I do think once they break him out of this, maybe when the Jersey Shore shuts off this year, he's going to be bigger than what he is now. And then after that match, which was a decent match, we had ODB versus Tara. I liked the match a lot. I really like ODB as one of the workers in the women's division.
The biggest disappointment to me was EY wasn't there.
And he's probably shooting the next year of his fishing show. But I do like how they worked it with the phone and everything.
I do too.
Her keeping him off phone. But and again, we seen Tara's boyfriend, who no one really knows who the hell he is.
I heard he was in Big Brother.
Yeah.
They mentioned it like 18 times during a freaking match.
And that's all that anybody knows, is he was in Big Brother at some point. If he's a big star, let us know, because we have no clue who the fuck he is.
Yeah, leave it in the comments down there.
Down where?
Down there.
Gave you again. You want to take swing two? Anyway.
There, 2 for 2.
Then after that, we had Kid Cash and Gunner versus Chavo and Hernandez.
So that was a tag team match.
Player. I thought it was an alright match. Nothing special. It seemed that they were more focused on in-ring segments and matches this week.
There was not a lot of matches this week. We went, 25, 30 minutes
before the match started. And then we have Jeff Hardy coming out with his celebration with Austin. Brought out Austin Aries. Jeff Hardy at one point drops the TNA belt and brings up the Divas Championship.
Oh, hold on a second. My phone's ringing. Yes, Vince? Vince is pretty pissed. He wants the Divas belt back.
That belt looks absolutely horrible.
Oh my god.
I understand vanity belts, like the Smoking Skull belt was pretty cool. The Brahma Bull belt was cool.
That Stone Cold and The Rock.
And
way out of this guy's league.
Even the spinner belt, when they first brought it out.
And I don't compliment Cena, but Cena is still way out of Jeff's league.
Well, when they first brought out the spinner belt, it fit the character for him at the time. Now it's a little bit dated. It's horrible now. We understand that.
Oh, yeah.
But the Jeff Hardy belt's just terrible. It looks like something that a little kid would draw up.
I just don't like... Well, a little kid to draw it up, because his mind is like a child.
Well, that's only because he burnt half his fucking brain cells out. You notice they were talking about all the party stuff, and he came just short of saying, "Where's all your party?" He kept saying, "Where's your party favors?" I think that was a shot at where's the drugs at.
I know. Well, look whose party it was.
But, you know, he ends up spitting on the belt. They do a little
Priceless.
thing.
I liked it.
Which is going to lead to eventual rematch, which will be okay. I hope Aries goes over on the rematch. After that, we had what I think was the match of the night on Impact. AJ Styles versus Kurt Angle versus Chris Daniels. Before the match, they had a backstage segment where AJ and Kurt basically split up as a team amicably. They had a decent match. The three of them worked well together. Again, like the tag team match, they've been working each other in different forms for the past few months. So they really have got their timing together well. Kurt ends up winning and which puts him in contention for the world title. After the match, he offers his hand to AJ to shake it, and AJ just walks away. Which I don't know if that's going to lead to an AJ heel turn. Or...
I kind of hope. I'm kind of tired of the Boy Scout AJ Styles.
I just don't think he works well as a heel. I didn't like him.
If he has a manager. Like, I liked him as a heel when he had Flair with him. But, I mean, there's no Flair there.
Or when he had Russo as his manager.
Yeah, back in the day.
I mean, even though, you know, Russo's as bad could be at times, but he was a good manager at that point. He brought something to AJ's character. I really don't think he works as a heel, to be honest with you. He's kind of this generation Sting, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had James Storm and Bobby Roode had a segment out in the ring, basically talking up each other, which led to Storm hitting a super kick.
That's the obvious. I was like, here comes a super kick. Huh? Boom. You know, he sets it up. You know, more, you know, so
blatantly.
Yeah, worse than Shawn did.
Well, Shawn would hit him out of nowhere like he did on Booker T. He hit it basically standing directly next to him.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas James Storm actually backs off and positions himself where he could hit the super kick right. Then, you know, we had the main event, which was the match that was set up. Oh, before we go into the main event, we're going to go into our Thunder Lips count of the week.
Ooh.
And, another thing I wanted to say about the three-way, I forgot to say. You know, if all of Hogan's three-ways are this good, what's he worried about putting that tape out for?
Exactly.
The Hulk Hogan Thunder Lips count of the week is 4.
4 Hulk Hogans.
And that brings us back to what Paul said, that when we started on that, the guy that did Count Von Count's voice did pass away this year, because we did question that on our last show. So rest in peace, Count Von Count's voice. The guy,
you're going to be the voice for the voiceless now, George.
That'd be one sweet job. Until Mitt Romney gets rid of it.
No, they make enough money, they can stay alive. They'll go on Nickelodeon.
Anyway, then we had the main event, which Hogan set up earlier in the night, Devon versus Sting. And even saying it to you, this is when we started writing our notes down to come shoot the video. I knew going into it the match wasn't going to be anything special. Sting is seeming to have a lot more trouble working in the ring now than he ever has. Devon, it looks to be in the best shape of his life.
Oh, yeah.
But he's never been someone that's been a 5-star match kind of guy. He's always been more of a brawler.
And that's just not Sting's thing. The better TV match would have been him and Devon, or him and Bully Ray, but I think they're building that for the pay-per-view, which we didn't really go over this that much, but this whole thing where everybody's going for the title with the top 4 contenders now.
Yeah, they're going to do the thing where they have Hulk Hogan eliminate them one by one. You know, they do that. It's the monthly gut check, or not gut check, what do they call it? Open fight night.
Pretty much. You know, it's either going to be Bully or it's going to be Kurt. Those are the only two, you know.
You know, I really think at this point, I don't trust them putting Bully Ray over, so I'd rather see Kurt Angle go for it. But back to the match. So the match was kind of lackluster. It turned into a WCW NWO finish with the Impact wrestlers fighting off the Aces and Eights at the end, which we've seen a million times over. If you watched WCW anywhere from late '96 to basically the end, every WCW Nitro either ended like this. So it's nothing new or revolutionary, nothing to bring new fans to the table, in my opinion.
I was impressed with it.
They did, however, mention, and this is something that you talked about, that there have been people that were disappointed in Devon being one of the reveals for Aces and Eights. But they did mention that he's a sergeant in arms, he's not the president, so there's going to be someone bigger than Devon. I liked it. I thought it was a surprise. To most people, I think it was going to be a shocker that Devon came out. What do you think? What did you think?
I thought it was okay. And I've already trashed it, but I'm going to trash it again. The thing that ruined the pay-per-view for me was Jeff Hardy getting over.
Yeah.
You know, you build this guy up to be the man for the company. Aries was doing great as a face. but you had to turn him heel and just shit on a great run. I think they could have had a great run with this guy.
Yeah.
You know, and you take it and give it to a pill popping, drug using idiot. You know, sorry to say it, but you know, I think Jeff Hardy will be their downfall.
And then basically, I have nothing really I could say more to add to that. I agree for the most part with that opinion. I think that's all basically I have for the week. You got anything else you want to add?
Boo, Jeff, boo. Sorry. That's it.
You hear that sound?
Those are crickets during Jeff Hardy's matches when he's not fighting in the Impact Zone.
That's the sound of hundreds of channels being switched because it's not thousands. They don't got that many viewers.
No.
But anyway, that's basically all I have for the week. My name's George Coles.
I'm Gary Rhodes.
This has been Heel Heat.